Hey everybody, welcome back to World History with Mr. Finn. Today we are starting a new civilization called the Roman civilization, and we'll go to our map. I know we're getting close, I hope I'm not talking too loud to you, to show you exactly where we're at now. So, just a recap, we started here, Tigris and Euphrates rivers. We went here with ancient Egypt, so we had Samaria, Egypt. We went out to India and China. And then we came back to the Mediterranean Sea, which is right here. And this is where we're going to spend a lot of our time right now. And we talked about ancient Greece, which falls in this area right there. This is a peninsula that ancient Greece was on. Now, after this, we're going to go a little bit west to the peninsula of Italy, the Italian peninsula. Looks like a boot kicking a little ball right here. And it's right in the middle of the Mediterranean. And this is going to be where Rome, even the city of Rome today, still exists. But the civilization of the Romans is going to be started in this area. So this is where we're going to be when I start talking about today, the beginnings or the intro. And now I'm going to go ahead and take our trip. Here we go. Our everyday trip where we get our map out and get us back to our screen. Here we go. Let me move this out of the way for you. All right. We are back in action. I already got a couple of things up on the board for us, just so we have an idea where we're starting. The Latins, Etruscans, and the Greeks are all going to play a part in our early Roman civilization unit. So, where we start? Well, on that peninsula, there were small groups or small kingdoms that existed. One was the Latins. And from the Latins, the Roman civilization is going to get their language. And their language is Latin. In fact, some schools even offer Latin today. Latin becomes a big part of the languages that are spoken in many different countries, which we'll get to when we talk about their culture. But this small group or kingdom is going to provide the Roman civilization with the language that they use. The Etruscans. The Etruscans were another group that was on the Italian peninsula as well. And the Etruscans are going to give them basically a lot of their culture in the way of what we would say everyday culture, like their dress, for example. So the Romans would wear something called togas. This is something that would come through the influence of the Etruscans. The Etruscans actually are going to have kings that rule over the city of Rome early on when we get to the history of the Roman civilization. And then, of course, we have the Greeks. Greeks with their Western civilization also is going to be big on the Italian peninsula because they have what we talked about in our last unit, colonies across the Mediterranean. And these colonies are what they're going to be doing is going to be a spread of culture as well. So the Roman civilization is going to be a mix of these three groups. And so when we get into the lesson of the Romans, we start talking about Roman history, it'll be important to understand that their language comes from the Latins, which is Latin. Their dress and some of their culture comes from the Etruscans. In fact, they're ruled over for a good portion of the time by the Etruscan kings. And then the Greeks, obviously, have massive culture from Western civilization. So that is going to be one part of the culture that comes from it. Now, something that's going to be a little bit different about the Romans than the Greeks and that culture that we talked about, you can pause this and write down those three groups, because that might be a quiz question, is going to be the actual peninsula that we're talking about. Like the geography of the Italian peninsula is very important. So the geography, the Italian peninsula comes down in the middle of the Mediterranean, which means that Rome is going to be central in this Mediterranean Sea. So they're going to have influence on the western half and the eastern half. And as the Romans grow in power and size, it's going to be because they're able to control a lot of the Mediterranean because of where they're located. Another thing is going to be this. Whereas with the Greeks, we had a problem with the rocky soil and they had to go out and do all these colonies everywhere. The Romans are going to be very strong at home, and it's going to be because of this. Farming. There is much more farmland on the Italian peninsula than there was on the Greek peninsula, meaning that there was going to be, and this comes pretty simple, food goes up. And when food goes up, we are going to see that population goes up. I guess that equals. Food going up equals population going up. So there will be more and more Romans there. The city will grow in size. The population going up means that they will have a greater ability to have soldiers and military on a much larger scale than we'll see with the Greeks. And so all of this combined is going to allow for the Romans to be in a much better situation than the Greeks were when it comes to expanding themselves. And another big thing about the Romans that we're going to talk about is going to be this. Unity. What does unity mean? Unity means that they are all together. They are all together. They are all going to become, all together, what do they become? They're all going to become Roman. Whereas if you remember, all the Greeks were spread out into all these different polis and city-states, so they all have their different cultures. Whereas in Rome, Rome is going to be a unified civilization. If you were Roman and we were proud to be Roman, there's going to be a proud tradition of serving the state, meaning like serving your country and doing whatever you could for your civilization. And because you have this unity, it's going to allow them to be stronger than the Greeks. Because remember, the Greeks ended up getting split because they all were fighting each other, and then they got weaker. And then if you remember, Alexander the Great and Philip II were able to come and kind of take over the Greek peninsula because they were weak. Now this unity is going to allow Rome to be strong. So that's going to be a major difference with the Romans, and again, puts them in a much better situation than the Greeks when it comes to expanding and power, which we will see. So, without further ado, that is going to be our intro into Rome, the cultures that helped create it, and why they are going to be able to be in a better situation. But now, on your paper, number 1 through 4 for me. 1 through 4. We got to do a quiz, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. You know what? I'm going to do this quiz as if we were really in class. And that is, I will just flip to any page, and whatever's on that page, I'm going to ask you. That way, I know that we are going over everything, and it's random, and it's covering everything. So here we go. First moment of truth. Ooh, this one, it's a little bit easy, but you know what? That's okay, because I already said it. Number 1, in ancient Greece, what did they call their city-states? Their city-states had a name. It was not city-states. They called them what? For number 1, what were Greek city-states called? Number 2, here we go. Flipping to any page here. All right, this one's you might have to go back through your notes, and it's okay. Here we go, this one. Number 2. This means, I think this might have been on one of your last ones. This means your soul is reborn in another body, and it comes from the religion of Hinduism. Your soul being reborn in a new body, number 2, is called what? Oh, got lucky there. Went to a random page. This one I think should be easy, but we'll see. You know, I never know which ones are going to be easy or not, so this is why we do them. Number 3, this means a religion that has many gods. Number 3, a religion that has many gods is known as what? For number 3. All right, last one. We'll see what we get to. Oh, you guys got lucky. Here we go. Oh, way back. Going in the Wayback Machine. Number 4. Where did early humans do their paintings? Early humans. We found evidence of early humans. Hominids. Way back. And we found out about their daily life from these paintings, but where did they do them? For number 4. All right. So I look forward to seeing those answers today for the quiz. And as we go, we'll be looking a lot into Rome. Rome's going to be a little bit of a stretch here, a number of videos for it. But it's a big civilization that takes up a lot of years and has a lot of influence. So we'll see all of that. But make sure you get this into me today, and I'll see you next class.